A beautiful day it is, Monday the 5th of July 2021. Officially, this is the first full week in the month of July. This is Breakfast Central, reaching you live from the economic capital and most populous nation in Africa, Nigeria. I am Oluchi Inobong.
Good morning, Africa. I am Olisa Chukuma. Such a delight to have you with us once again. We hope you had an amazing weekend and welcome to the most colorful breakfast show from the African continent. Well, today we've got everything for you: top stories, news, the headlines, sports, entertainment, and much more. But first, here's a look at the headlines. Well, Jacob Zuma says going to jail is a death sentence as he refuses to hand himself over to prison authorities.
And we'll be looking at Nigeria, the aftermath of the Yoruba Nation protest right here.
Also, Africa surpasses 5.3 million COVID-19 cases. We'll tell you the numbers and the figures.
And we'll be talking about personal finance management in post-COVID times.
Plus, there's entertainment. LADIPOE announces Tanzania show. Woohoo! All that and more today on Breakfast Central.
If you just tuned in, this is Breakfast Central, and we're asking you to follow us on all socials. Now, we are at News Central TV on Instagram, on Facebook, and our website is www.newscentraltv.africa. Now, let's start off the day by checking out what our stories are saying on the front pages of the papers.
All right, well, starting this morning, Breakfast Central today, Monday, the 5th of July, 2021, with the Daily Trust in Nigeria. And there's a big one that says traffic robbers hunt commuters in Lagos and Kano. And there's a bit of numbers that says 871 suspects arrested in 6 months. US, India alert citizens, victims recount ordeals and how my friend got robbed, stabbed to death. So these are real issues about traffic robbers in cities like Lagos and Kano. Quite worrying.
All right, I'm looking at the picture in the Daily Trust. Also, you will see the building that was brought to nothing at all. It says bandits raid Zaria Hospital, abduct babies and staff. That's also another story in the Daily Trust this morning.
From last night.
Yeah,
really shocking.
It's quite unfortunate you have also there. Looking at IPOB, it says IPOB welcomes fair hearing opportunity for Kano. That's also at the top page of the Daily Trust this morning. 10 killed, scores injured as truck crashes into Ibadan market. Well,
all down more on the front page of Daily Trust in Nigeria. So that's the first paper we're taking. We have another paper for you, which is the Independent. Also, the Daily Independent, it comes from Nigeria, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, says banks' aggressive digital drive may spur massive job cuts.
Wow, that's a very sad one. You also have right there, looking at the 2021 UTME, JAM blames candidates' poor performance on COVID-19. Really? Well, you have to go to page 2 of the papers for more information. Also looking at page 6, it says police parade 49 suspects for holding Yoruba Nation rally in Lagos. The display charms, ammunitions were also recovered. You can get more of that from page 6 of the paper this morning. Still on page 6, defections. Now, this says PDP governors take over Ondo Guber Supreme Court battle. That's what it says in the paper this morning. Also in the paper, you have moves underway to suspend Lai Mohammed over factional APC secretariat.
Good luck with that. It talks about Reps Kwara Speaker, that's disowned minister over claim on campaign funding. Moves on the way to suspend Lai Mohammed and APC over factional AP secretary. Well, I'll say, well, let's just clear our throats and see if that's going to happen politically. All right, so there you have it, today, Independence, also in Nigeria. All right,
we have the Daily Monitor here, looking at beating COVID. I got COVID-19 when I visited my friend who had tested positive. That's what it says in page 28 of the paper this morning. Uganda to buy 2 million COVID jab from U.S. firm. That's what it says here. You can see the picture of the old man. Oh, his facial expression as the syringe pierces through his skin, talking about the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, some of us also had this vaccine over the weekend, but, well, you can see that right here. In Uganda, they're set to buy 2 million COVID jabs from the U.S. firm. All of that from the Daily Monitor in Uganda.
All right, so there you have it for the papers. Not sure if we still have any more to run through, but if we do, we'll just go straight to it. And it's the Daily Times in Malawi, which talks about government under fire over judicial independence. So it's all about the judiciary and how independent they are in African countries. This time it's in Malawi that's having the tear up there. And APM tears into concert government. All of that on the front page of the Daily Times in Malawi.
Quite interesting we have in Malawi this morning. I think that's all we have for the papers this morning. Now that we're done with the newspapers, let's bring you the top stories we have for you from Africa.
Still Breakfast Central on News Central, and we're starting out in South Africa, where supporters of the former president of the country, Jacob Zuma, have formed what can be described as a human shield outside his home to try to prevent his arrest. Now, on Tuesday last week, the Constitutional Court found Mr. Zuma guilty of contempt of court for defying its order to appear before an inquiry into corruption.
Now, a deadline for his arrest had been set for midnight on Sunday. However, the Constitutional Court then later agreed to hear his challenge to the 15-month jail term he was given. Now, just how that affects the arrest deadline appears unclear at the moment.
Well, Jacob Zuma says no need for me to go to jail. That's why he was speaking speaking to media yesterday in his home in KwaZulu-Natal, the province, on Sunday. Zuma also says that due to his ill health, sentencing him this time would amount to a death sentence. So let's listen to the former president, Jacob Zuma, himself in a press conference yesterday.
He is not neutral. He also made his own submission to disprove my contention and subsequently ruled that his own submission is victorious. This then meant that I was now forced to appear before somebody I have accused of bias and conflict of interest. As things stand right now, that issue is being adjudicated in a court of law, and I'm still awaiting the outcome of that court. Had Judge Zondo simply recused himself and allowed my submission to be made to somebody neutral, the people of South Africa would have heard my version as regards all
All right, so there you have it. Former President of South Africa, Jacob Zuma, himself speaking at his house in KwaZulu-Natal yesterday, where outside his home, human shields were flown by thousands of his supporters.
Now, a lot of the supporters came out wearing the particular shirts with the question, why are we after Zuma? That's one of the big questions that was on the minds of a lot of them. A lot of them see former President Jacob Zuma, they see him as their savior. And let's not forget, this is not the first time Jacob Zuma has been sentenced to prison. Now, during the apartheid region, he was incarcerated for about 10 years in the Robben Island for accusations that they put on him, and he was actually imprisoned for that long. Now, the question that people are also asking is, why is he avoiding this sentence at this time? Because from what he has said, he's saying his health, looking at COVID now, and his age compared to back then when he was much younger, are those really valid reasons why he shouldn't be put in that confined space, the four walls of a prison? Well,
that's one of the big stories in South Africa. Well, clearly in Africa right now. Meanwhile, the Constitutional Court has agreed to hear Zuma's latest appeal and has set a hearing of July 19th. As Zuma said, due to ill health, he cannot go to prison. That will be a death sentence for him. So we've been waiting for this moment. The deadline when the court gave it yesterday, the judge said he has to submit himself, and that deadline was last night. And there was so many press cameras in front of Jacob Zuma's house, and the showman came up with his lawyers and talked about being sentenced to death and not going to prison. And well, as it stands, it means that he cannot officially be arrested since they are going to hear his appeal, so they have to give him time. But in cases, I think people are saying that there was no way that Jacob Zuma was submitting himself as at yesterday, Sunday.
I mean, a lot of people predicted that, and we're looking forward to that Sunday, which was yesterday, because the atmosphere in South Africa was pretty tense. But we will dissect this story further in our news bulletin and also tomorrow on The Breakfast Show. But for now, let's move to our very next top story. March for Justice. All right, from South Africa, we'll move to Ghana, where the youth wing of the country's main opposition party, the NDC, says it will stage a March for Justice protest. Now, this follows the killing of the Fix the Country protesters in Ijura in the Ashanti region of the country.
Now, the youth wing of the opposition National Democratic Congress says it will go ahead with its planned demonstration, despite indications that the police will not guarantee protection for them. Now, News Central's Bennett Joseph sheds more light in this report.
Initially, it started with the hashtag Fix the Country movement, and now we're hearing of the March for Justice movement. It will seem as though the pressures are mounting heavily on the Nana Akufo-led government. What is actually going on?
Well, we're going to increase the pressure the coming days. We started with a hashtag Fix the Country, and then we started growing that particular hashtag Fix the Country, and the government, instead of actually thinking about it, calling, knowing the concerns, addressing the issues, they thought that it was something against the government. So 2, 3, 4, 5 times we were refused the opportunity to demonstrate. Peaceful one, of course, but they said no, they're not going to allow us. Only for us to hear that they've allowed the junior brothers, the NDC, to go for March for Justice whatsoever. The question we keep asking, we started the whole thing. Fix the country. You are not fixing the country. You've just denied us our human rights from demonstrating. Why now giving the opportunity to the NDC?
Are you saying that there's some kind of political bias with the March for Justice protest?
Okay, you know, here in Ghana, politically, the NDC and the MPP, they are from different mothers with one father. So it's the same blood running through them. So the NPP think that if you should allow the Fix the Country people to demonstrate, that will not be too much good for us. The image that will be portrayed to the international community would not be the best. But if we allow the opposition, everybody knows that, come on, I mean, opposition parties, they like talking, they will say so many things. So let's give, they are brothers. They behave the same way, they think the same way, they do everything. They are the same people.
All right, so that was correspondent Bernard Joseph in Ghana at the weekend, speaking to a broadcast journalist in the country about the proposed protest for tomorrow. Well, from one botched protest in Ghana, which has been rescheduled to another that many thought will not happen, but somehow it did. Now, in Nigeria, in spite of threats and heavy presence of men of the Nigeria Police, Army and the Security Defense Corps and other security agencies in Lagos, agitators for the Yoruba Nation made good their promise to hold a rally to press home their demands.
Now, self-proclaimed activist and one of the vanguards of the Yoruba Nation agitation, Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Sunday Igboho, was not on hand to lead the protesters. But as time ticked by, the number of agitators who had been hanging around the Ganifa Park in Ojota grew. They sang unity songs as they huddled together.
Now, police, however, sprayed water cannons and fired tear gas on protesters to disperse them, as you are about to see in this footage from our reporter, Mary Chinda, who was at the scene.
It is 8 a.m. July 3rd, 2021, and the Ganifa Park hosts a heavy presence of security personnel. Men of the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Air Force, and the Nigerian Police. And now the state-owned security apparatus. They are here to disperse the Sunday Igboho-led pro-Yoruba Nation protesters who are seeking a secession from the country, Nigeria. With a heavy presence of security, not a protester is sight just yet. The police commissioner makes his way to speak to the press.
You could recollect that on Thursday, I had a press conference wherein I listed the security reasons why the rally must not hold. Because you come to realize that some miscreants have perfected plan to seize this opportunity, so to create mayhem in the society. Though the organizers of the rally made frantic efforts to say it will go peacefully, but you and I know that that's what happened during the NSCDC.
Right as he speaks, the protesters emerge in their numbers with banners and chants for freedom.
Dání àmọ́ dáadáa ní bí mo ṣe wà yìí bó lè ṣí gbogbo nǹkan mi kò sí nǹkan tó wà ń bẹ̀ kò sí nǹkan tá à ń mú dání ẹni tó àwọn tó ń gbé AK-47 dání wọn ò mú wọn o wọn tún fẹ́ pa kí ló ṣe fi sílẹ̀ ẹ̀rọ ti kúnlẹ̀ àbíyamọ nígbà táwa ò lè sọ̀rọ̀ tó jẹ́ pé òun náà gbà wá.
With agitation seemingly getting out of hand, the police uses water cannons to disperse the protesters. But this doesn't seem successful as the daunting protesters resurface. Now, tear gases and random bullets are shot in the air, allegedly leading to the death of this young teenager. Whether this serves as a deterrent for this pro-Yoruba Nation separatists or protesters across the country, no one knows. From the Ganifa Park right here in Lagos, southwest Nigeria, venue of today's pro-Yoruba Nation protest, Mary Chinda reporting for News Central TV.
Wow. That's
Wow.
a whole lot.
Really, really chilling image of the body of a young lady, covered there in that one. Well, in another development, we can tell you that the Lagos State Governor, that's Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has ordered immediate thorough investigation into the death of the young lady allegedly killed by, it was reported as a stray bullet in Ojota area where the protest was going down during the mega rally on Saturday, 3rd July.
Now recall that the victim, simply identified as Jumoke Muriano Adoke, was allegedly killed by stray bullets when policemen fired gunshots to disperse the crowd that gathered at Gani Faweyimi's Freedom Park in Ojota, Lagos, which was the venue for the rally.
All right, well, perhaps that brings the question, the cost of, these rallies and movement, because it is quite sad that someone actually passed away from all this.
Yeah, but also some people have given good credit to the forces, the police forces and the security forces, in terms of how they applied what they did to ensure they could disperse the crowd. Now, if you recall, for the NSAS protest, we had more bullets than what we're getting today or what we got over the weekend. That is not to say that the action or the stray bullet that hits the victim is a good thing. But if we're looking at, if we're comparing it back hand in hand with the protests that happened in October of 2020, people have come out to say the security agencies seem to have managed it somehow.
Yeah, because people will dispute that. Even, watching some of those images as we brought them to you on News Central on Saturday, you could see clear police brutality, people on the ground being beaten by police forces, 3 against 1, 3 against 2, and you're asking, these protesters are unarmed. Do they pose a threat to the police security services? No. So if they don't pose a threat, why go for brutality, and why the gunshots? And now we're, trying to run rings around investigation about, stray bullets. Let's not kid ourselves here. The autopsy should be done. The bullet has a number, and if it comes from the police,
it should be traced at some point.
Then justice has to be done, because the question is whether she was a protester, the victim, or not. A life shouldn't have been lost, because there were, just like the police commissioner said, there was insistence by the Yoruba rally organizer that this is supposed to be a peaceful rally. It was supposed to be a peaceful rally. He made comments on why it shouldn't hold it, perhaps hijacked by hoodlums, as they say these days. But it does look like, from what we're seeing, it was a peaceful rally of sorts, even if the police resorted to firearms, tear gas, water cannons, and the sorts.
And the young woman who was there, who was speaking in a dialect, in Yoruba dialect, was actually coming out and telling people that they are unarmed and they cannot speak, and that's why they have Sunday Igboho, who is quite vocal enough, and he represents the demands that the people are making. Now, the Yoruba woman was quite passionate about her cause.
Well, we'll continue to bring you more on that, especially from the comments of Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Lagos State Governor, regarding investigations into the alleged stray bullet that killed a young lady on Saturday during the protest. Well, more stories right here on Breakfast Central. This is News Central.
All right, looking at Africa and the COVID-19 update. Now, Africa's COVID-19 cases has risen to over 5.3 million. It is now time for COVID-19 updates.
All right, good morning, and indeed, let's bring you some of the latest on the COVID-19 update here on Breakfast Central. We're going straight to Ghana. Well, Ghana's health service, GHS, says at least 136 students in high school have been infected with the COVID-19 Delta variant. According to the Director General of the GHS, Patrick Kuma Agbaye, 136 out of the 550 samples taken among students in Ashimota School came out positive during the latest national COVID-19 update. Agboye said 3 students from the school went to the hospital last month with symptoms of influenza, but ended up with testing positive for COVID-19. Ghana first confirmed 6 cases of the COVID-19 Delta variant among passengers arriving in the country on the 22nd of June. Now, as of yesterday, the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in the country has now increased to over 96,000. In Uganda, what else is happening there? The country has introduced new penalties for offenders of the country's COVID-19 prevention procedures, a statutory instrument dubbed Public Health Control of COVID-19 Rules 2021, signed by the Health Minister Ruth Aceng, said that if one is found guilty of not wearing a facial mask while in public places, he or she will face a jail term of 2 months. Now, the instrument also said that any COVID-19 positive individual who escapes from a designated isolation unit faces imprisonment for 2 months on conviction. It also added that individuals who convene a public gathering to hold weddings, open closed facilities such as bars and disco halls, break the 1900-hour curfew, or breaks the transport ban also gets 2 months in jail on conviction. Okay, Tanzania. Now, the health authorities there has urged management of schools and other learning institutions to strictly observe COVID-19 protective guidelines as they reopen. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Health, Abel Makubi, during a news conference in the capital, Dodoma, said school authorities should install facilities for washing of hands with soap and water and ensure that face masks and sanitizers are available and used at all times. He also added that health status of students should be monitored frequently. Recall that on June 29th, Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan warned that the third wave of the pandemic has already swept across the country, in which there are more than 100 COVID-19 patients admitted to the hospitals. Let's go straight down to the figures here on the African continent. As according to the African CDC, the continent has reported over 5.3 million cases with over 140,000 deaths. Now, tests carried out so far expect at over 52 million, while the number of recovery stands at over 4.7 million. Before we go quickly, just coming through breaking news. So the Speaker of the Mozambican Parliament, Esperança Bias, has gone into self-isolation after she tested positive to COVID-19. Alisa, those are some of the major stories on the pandemic on the continent this morning right here on Breakfast Central.
Well, thank you very much, Israel, for the latest when it comes to the figures of COVID-19 across Africa, vaccinations, and yes, the challenges of the campaign. But thank you once again, Israel.
Many thanks.
All right, still coming up next right here on Breakfast Central. It's a Monday. Well, personal finance management in post-COVID-19 times will tell you how. And Tunisia's Onjabor sent for Wimbledon action in the 4th round.
In world of entertainment, LADIPOE announces Tanzania show. Right here. All right, it is still Monday, the 5th of July in 2021. You're watching Breakfast Central on News Central. Now, the impact of COVID-19 no doubt affected the financial stabilities of homes, now not just homes, companies, and surely individuals like you and I. Now, until date, most companies are struggling to cope financially, as the same can be said about individuals.
Well, our guest today just released a book titled Your Money and You. Now, her name is Kikelomo Kuponi. Apologies. She has 24 years industry experience and the author of the book Your Money and You, Personal Finance Management in Post-COVID-19 Times, which is quite welcomed if you look at where we are right now with the pandemic. Good morning, Kikelomo. Welcome to Breakfast Central.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Good morning. Right now, tell us what spurred you to write this book at this time. Pretty strategic.
Yes, I wrote it during the lockdown, actually. You know, when things started going down, you know, businesses were closing up. And even from my own spending, I wasn't earning money and I was spending a lot. So it just occurred to me that, a lot of people will be going through similar things and they would need help in coming to terms with coping, with their finances at this time.
All right, Kikelomo, your book is quite interesting, but how can one plan their finances better in these, post-COVID-19 times, or more like post-lockdown time, because we are still in the COVID-19 pandemic, so to speak?
Well, the key thing is to understand yourself, your relationship with money, your money habits, and come to terms with it that, okay, this is my situation. Maybe I like to spend a lot of money. Maybe I'm not earning enough. I'm struggling. So how can I improve myself? How can I make things better within my limited resources? So the book tells you how to save, how to budget, how to understand yourself so that you can stick to your decisions. People make a lot of decisions concerning money. Maybe they are not able to keep to those decisions because of other things. So it's a guide to help you discipline yourself. And, it contains many tips about what to do. Once you understand what your money personality is, for example, are you a spender? Are you a shopper? Are you a debtor? Are you a saver? Once you understand yourself, then it will help you cope with, planning better and sticking to your plans.
Yeah, now Kikelomo, you took the word right out of my mouth, talking about discipline. I know Olisa can relate to some of the terms that you've used here.
We've not established my money personality yet.
I'm just saying. So now that we're talking about discipline, we're talking about budget, can you just give us the best tips, for budgeting on a weekly level? Olisa, please listen.
Wait, first, let me add, irrespective of your financial personality. Okay.
Yes, because once you take a decision to budgeting is also a function of your personality. But putting that aside, you, first of all, to start budgeting, you have to come to terms with how you spend money. So my suggestion is that, first of all, write down everything that you are spending money on. The first week, let's say you want to start budgeting today. From today to the end of the week, write out everything. Just watch yourself spend money and write down everything that you are spending so that you can look at it later and understand, oh, okay, so this is how my money goes. So the next step is that once you understand how your money goes, then you now say, okay, I want to be better, I want to do better. Then you now take from what you've learned about yourself and then draw up a budget based on your current resources. Okay, maybe I've been spending 2,000 naira on suya every weekend. Okay, maybe I can either do without it or cut it down to 1,000 naira, things like that. It's a gradual thing. Once you understand yourself, and you can't shock your system, so you have to do it gradually, start cutting down gradually, because if you do it abruptly, you are going to go back to it. So it's better you train yourself, which is where the discipline comes in and the self-control and all of that.
All right, Kikelomo, before we let you go, what savings and investment plans should the young person, invest in these pandemic times?
Okay, there are many options, but first of all, you have to save, because if it is from your savings that you now invest. So savings is almost, I would say, compulsory. No matter how small your earnings are, you have to save. Just keep putting money aside on a monthly basis, or whenever your money comes, maybe it's weekly, it's bi-weekly, it's monthly. Always put at least 10 to 20% aside. And then when you have accumulated enough to invest, then you can now look for the investment options. There are treasury bills, there are government bonds, there is a money market, there are a lot of mutual funds available. There's if you want to be a bit more brutal, you can consider cryptocurrency, but you have to understand what you're investing in. So my best advice is start small. Start with what you understand. Start with, for example, just fixed deposits, and then when you've accumulated that, you can now move on to treasury bills and then you can move on to, once your fund increases, you can put money in different investment buckets as your money increases. But always start small and start safe, which is start with treasury bills or fixed deposits.
Right. So starting small and starting safe are the baby steps we need to take to get into that particular level. Thank you so much, Kikelomo. But before we let you go, where can we get this book?
Okay, the book is available at Roving Heights Bookstore. It's also available on Amazon, both the paperback and Kindle. It's available on Okada Books. It's available in Booksellers NG, that's Booksellers Bookstore. It's available in most bookstores. And then you can read, if you are subscribed to BAM Books, you can read it on BAM Books.
All right, Kikelomo Kuponi, yes, author of the book, Your Money and Your Personal Finance Management in Post-COVID-19 Times. Hopefully we can get some right here on Breakfast, whether for, hard copy, soft copy, or even online or for Kindle, and let people get them, because I'm sure people want to know about that financial personality, which is it, shopper, spender, debtor. Thank you very much, Kikelomo, for coming on Breakfast Central.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, the world of entertainment is looking very exciting with new movies, new music, and, fun stories. Next up is entertainment updates right here on Breakfast Central. All right, still Breakfast Central. Is a Monday, 5th day of July 2021. I've got my man when it comes to the entertainment plug, Sam Dandy. Sam, good morning to you. How did everything go during the weekend?
I'm going to tell you in a bit. I'm doing fine, thank you. How are you guys doing?
Awesome.
Great.
All right, so let me tell you what's happening
happening
in Nigeria, right? Let me go into it. So 24-year-old Headies nominated Nigerian, of course, Bella SHMURDA, has dropped the latest single from his forthcoming sophomore EP, High Tension Volume 2, now titled Party Next Door. Now, if you recall, High Tension Volume 1 dropped in January 2020 and was widely accepted, with hit songs like Vision 2020 featuring YBNL Boss Olamide. Now, the EP discusses the dreams of the average young Nigerian man from inner city Lagos, now struggles in school, a life of insufficiency, the doubts that beset young minds, and the pressures of growing up in the present Nigeria. All this addressed on Bella's album, EP. Now, Bella SHMURDA, who over the weekend released a video, yet another video from the song, Party Next Door, also announced that the 8-track EP would drop on the 9th of July. Now, this Friday under Dagbana Republic and 1 RPM. Now, with free songs already available to fans, like World, Rush, and Party Next Door, fans can pre-order, but if you can't, well, you have to wait for the 5 other songs. Now, none of them have been projected to have any features, and maybe that's a little bummer. But here's a bit of the Party Next Door by Bella SHMURDA.
From sundown to sunrise.
I think he absolutely has it going for himself. Well, still in Nigeria, the Nigerian wave of the moment, LADIPOE, I like to call him that, has indeed shot up to limelight now since the release of Know You, which features Simi, and more recently, Feeling, which featuring Boju. Now, with both songs over 10 million views collectively on YouTube. Now, let me give you the gist. Now, less than 24 hours ago, the star announced his upcoming performance in Tanzania. Now, in a caption which read, "I'm ready to take our long-distance relationship to the next level. I'll be live in Dar es Salaam on the 10th of July. See you soon." Now, the rapper who signed to Maven Records since February 2017 is currently in Ghana. Now, LADIPOE's Feelings song is popular across the West African nation and even outside Africa. Feelings is currently among the top 10 songs in Ghana, out of Ghana's Apple Music top 100 songs, now being streamed. Now, the rapper also caught up with, you can't go to Ghana without seeing Sarkodie. He caught up with giant rapper Sarkodie, who shared some encouragement and support, to LADIPOE's craft. Now, LADIPOE confirmed this, their meeting with a caption. He wrote, "I thought real recognized real was just a line from a song until my conversation with Sarkodie. There were many gems shared." And I'm super proud of LADIPOE, His songs have blown up and it plays every single day. It's almost too much, but we love him.
Are you feeling what I'm feeling now?
I am.
I mean, looking at, I'm ready to take this long distance relationship to the next level, Lisa. That's a line I think couples in long distance will want.
All right. I think that's about it, right, Sam?
Thank you so much, Sam, for all the juicy entertainment stories. Thank you for coming. All right, we're not done yet on the show today because we still have more to come.
Well, all about tennis. Ons Jabeur set for Wimbledon 4th round. She's Africa's #1 lady, and we're wishing her luck out there at Wimbledon today. All right, still Breakfast Central on a Monday, some sports update for you. Now, yesterday was a rest day when it comes to Wimbledon 2021, so all the players got some rest down there, but it starts today, so it's going to be Manic Monday with both the men's and women's second place matches simultaneously in different courts around Center Court, plus it's all 4th round matches. But from an African perspective, there's only one lady to look out for today, Ons Jabeur. Now, she'll be quite busy in her 4th round match when she takes on Iga Swiatek of Poland. Now, Iga Swiatek is the 2020 French Open champion, so there's a lot to do for this lady on Jabeur today. She took out Gabi Muguruza of Spain, who is a 2-time Grand Slam winner on Friday. She won that one 7-5, 5-7, 6-3, 6-2. She's the 24th ranked person in the world. She's the 21st seed and she's 26 years of age. She also defeated Venus Williams before going to the 3rd round, and now she's in the 4th round. The big question is, can she make it to the semi-final, which she clearly said is our target going into Wimbledon. Don't forget, she won the Birmingham Classics on grass before going into Wimbledon, which means she clearly won the last trophy for this one, which means she's in form. Now, it's a big task for her against Iga Swiatek against Poland of Poland today. That is the big question from an African's perspective. She's the only African left in the entire Wimbledon and the only African woman when it comes to the women's tour circuit. There'll be other matches today. The likes of Ashley Barty will be busy. Aya Sabalenka will also be busy. Pliskova will be busy playing. And there's a big one between Kobe Goff and Angelika Kerber of Germany. In the men's game, Novak Djokovic will also have a game today alongside Medvedev, Zverev, Rublev, and that man, Roger Federer. So that's the big question. All eyes will be on Ons Jabeur today. And I hope she can really get the victory and move into the quarter-finals. All right, so let's go bring on our, Lady of Sports, they call her First Lady of Sports, Onyechi Obaro. Onyechi, good morning to you.
Morning.
Rest day yesterday when it comes to Wimbledon, so it goes again today, and all eyes will be on Africa's Ons Jabeur.
Yes, of course. Good morning, Elisa. It's a good thing to talk about the only African woman there going through in the Wimbledon 2021 for the women's singles. Of course, Ons Jabeur, the 24th seed, has been spectacular so far in the Wimbledon. We had seen how she was so composed, kept her composure, coming up from sets down to go against Venus Williams, even overtaking her there. And on Friday, she came from 2 sets down to beat Gabin Muguruza. Now, remember that Gabin is a 2-time Grand Slam champion there. So Ons Jabeur, if she keeps up with this composure and being calculative with her sets, she should be able to go so far. Remember, she has said the semi-final is at target, so maybe she can do it at this time around.
Right, Onyechi, away from tennis, there were a couple of international friendlies played yesterday, but the one that really concerns many Africans, indeed Nigerians, it's the Mexico versus the Super Eagles match. And the scoreline, Onyechi, I think you better be the one to tell it because...
Wow. Really, the scoreline was 4-0. Big 4 when it comes to that. But remember that the whole Super Eagles Team B setup was, from the startup, was full of a lot of criticism, a lot of talks, a lot of confusion and all that. Now, looking from the technical director who was supposed to take over the team, Austin Eguavoh, a legend of the game, who couldn't even make it due to some visa troubles and all that. Now they have to take charge. Paula Igbogun had to take charge. Paula Igbogun, who is the Flying Eagles coach, had to take charge of the Super Eagles Team B. Now, the team they got to play, Mexican team they got to play, the star-studded team. So maybe it's a learning curve for the Nigerian Professional Football League players over there for them to go again A Ghana-friendly and Canadian-friendly has been set up for the Super Eagles. Let's see what they can bring on this next games.
All right, so Ghana and Canada up next. There's something about Ghana and Canada. Okay, the goose and the gander. All right, thank you very much, Onyechi Obaro. There will be lots to catch up later on when it comes to sports on In the Game.
All right, so before we wrap up, thank you so much, Inye. Before we wrap up, let's tell you some of the programs that will be coming up later today on News Central.
We'll be beyond the continent at 1 p.m. West African time.
And we have 7 p.m. West African time, Village Square, Africa.
And at 9 p.m. tonight, NC Continental Prime, a wrap-up of all the day's news and big events across Africa.
Okay.
All right, so that's it on breakfast this morning. Breakfast Central with Olisa and Oluchi. Quite a lot to go down through, especially that story about Jacob Zuma in South Africa.
Well, I'm looking forward to that, and we'll be bringing an update on that tomorrow on the show. Remember to have a lovely day.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Tomorrow.